Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Inga Cotton. I'm the founder and executive director of San Antonio Charter Moms, and these are Charter Moms Chats. And we've been talking about education and like stuff that families need to know. And we went virtual because of the pandemic, and then we realized that these are actually really handy because you can grab people from different parts of town and just have a conversation. And then it's out there on the interwebs. So we've been talking about schools and summer camps and activities and like things that are reopening. But like one of our ongoing themes for the past year has been like learning activities that families can do at home. And sometimes they're academic and sometimes they're more about life skills. And today's topic is more in the life skills category, which I think has maybe been a silver lining of the pandemic. Is like having our kids home with us more. We've had a chance to like show them the things that they're going to need to know when they're independent someday, right? And we care more about our spaces maybe than we did before because you're spending more time in them. So our guest today is Kim Folden, who's the owner of MaidPro San Antonio. And so she is a busy business owner and a single mom. And so I want to hear from her about how she juggles all these things and how we can get our kids to help more with cleaning around the house, because it helps us and it also like sets them up to be hopefully independent, productive adults someday, right? That's the that's the hope. Okay. So thank you, Kim. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So well, I wanted to ask you, like, I mean, another theme that we talk about a lot is entrepreneurship, right? We want kids to have like an entrepreneurial like growth mindset. And so you are a business owner. So what is that like? And how do you juggle that with the responsibilities of being a mom?
That's a really great question. Thank you for asking. Some days things go smooth. Some days, it can be interesting to try and coordinate, being a business owner and a mom. But I think as a mom, and everybody who's a mom and a parent, there's just those days that, there's a lot going on. But what's so wonderful about my business is that I'm able to take my kids to school in the morning. I can go in the office and do what I need to do, and I can pick them up in the afternoon. So when I go home, I can be that mom. I kind of have a really good gig, and that's the reason I decided to open MaidPros, because I can be the mom that I want to be when my kids are home. I can be that fully present mom we all want to be for our children, right? I think that's a big topic of discussion a lot, being there for our children and helping them grow and thrive. So that's one of the biggest reasons I do love this business, because it allows me to do that.
Yeah, and I'm sure you work very hard. I know that. I mean, it's been great working with you to get this, the blog post together and stuff. But yeah, and I'm the founder of a nonprofit, so I kind of feel the same thing where like I really appreciate the flexibility, but also like I really care about what I'm doing. I'm really dedicated to it, and so sometimes I'm working at strange hours that like
yes,
it's not
there's
8 to 5.
Definitely some strange hours in there. Yeah, that's for sure. But it allows you the flexibility to do that, so you can spend time with the kids' homework, and then you can put them to bed. And if there's anything that needs to be done after they go to bed, you can do that. And it's really very nice and flexible in that manner.
Yeah. Well, I want to mention that in the description of the video is a link to the guest post that published today on the blog sachartermoms.com, and I encourage everyone who's watching the video to also read the post, because there's really good suggestions in there. There's links to resources, and there's links to other activities on our site that also relate to like the life skills topic. So I want to encourage folks to read the blog post, but I want you to kind of walk us through some of the key points. So
sure.
Like one of the big messages is that you can get your kids involved. You can get them to help clean. And
yes.
Sometimes it feels like that, like, is it worth the eye rolling? Is it worth the resistance? But it really is in the long run, right?
It is. And, it's all about those habits, starting those habits early. And I know that schools, elementary schools, they promote that as well. And it's just starting with something small. It doesn't need to be big. You don't need to expect your kindergartner or first grader to be doing the dishes and doing all their laundry, things of that nature. It's something so small, as simple as clearing your plate off the dinner table and just putting it in the sink. Or having them put a book away, their favorite book, make sure it goes back on the bookshelf, something so simple, and it just gets them in that habit, and that repeated habit. Once they are in that, then you can sort of add more as you go. And it doesn't feel like such a chore. They feel like they're pitching in. They're part of the household. It's not something they have to do. It's something they want to do because everybody in the house is pitching in. So it's just something so small to start with. And so I think a lot of struggles come with and we all have felt this as moms, we feel overwhelmed. Our house is a mess, and where do we start? And suddenly we're telling all our kids, okay, you need to clean this and that. And it's so easy to get into that sort of dark place sometimes when we're like overwhelmed. But if we can all start in those small habits early and one thing at a time, it's the old adage, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? So it's one little thing at a time that really adds up over time.
I think there's a really good point you made, and I think it applies to a lot of things, like life skills things, but also academic things, and that is the power of habits. Because once something becomes a habit, it's not a matter, you don't have to decide to do it. And what we want is we want habits to work in our favor. So we want to build good habits, right? But it starts small. The more you do it, the more the stronger the habit becomes. So yeah.
Yes, absolutely. That's, again, it's just something so little, and you can always just start with one thing. That's it. If you feel like you're struggling, especially with the littler ones, I mean, they're little. We can't expect them to vacuum, but we can say, hey, let's put your books away, and that can be a habit you do every single night. And after a while, it doesn't become a chore. It really isn't. They just know it's part of their routine every single night, and then you add on. It does. It isn't such a struggle, but it does take time and patience. That's for sure. It doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah, I think one of the key points you make in the blog post is about thinking about things in a way in terms of what's age appropriate. And you have a link to a really exhaustive list of what's age appropriate. That's amazing. But I think what's great about but you offer some suggestions. So you mentioned putting the books away. That's something that even a young child could do. Yes. So can you think of give us some more examples of chores that are age appropriate, or how to give kids more choice? I think that's something as older kids, they want to be treated with respect, right? They want to have a voice in how things are done, right?
So it's the how do you bring them into the household, because they are part of your household and you want them to contribute, but also not making them feel as if you are ordering them around, right? Because they don't like that. The tweens, teenagers, they want their space, they want their independence, and that's a fine line to walk. So yes, choices are really, really good for kids that age. And it can be choices of any kind. It can be something like, hey, would you like to clean your room tonight? Or would you like to do the dishes after dinner tonight? Giving them a choice in what can work best for them. They're going to be helping no matter what. They are contributing no matter what. But now you are giving them a few choices. Now, don't give them too much, right? We always want to give just a couple of choices, and allow them to decide how they are going to contribute that day to the household, or to the cleaning, or to whatever it is. It puts it in their hands. And so everybody wins in that sense.
Yeah, I think that's a really important, I think how I've heard it described. It's a choice within boundaries, right? You're giving them two good options, so they really can't choose the wrong thing.
Yes.
And I'm happy with either choice that they make, because they're helping, and they feel like that they have a choice. They're not just being ordered to do one particular thing.
Yes. And then once they're done, you just reiterate how wonderful it is that they contributed and they did such a great job, and point out one or two small things that they did really well. If they clean their room, wow, your bed, you did so wonderful. I really like how you arranged those pillows. Something so small goes such a long way, and they feel really proud of themselves. So you instill that sense of pride, and then they're going to want to do it again, because they don't feel like it's a punishment. They felt like it was something they did on their own. And then you gave them credit for it. And again, everybody still wins.
Yeah, I feel like this is an area I'm listening carefully, because it's an area where I still need to grow. And we've come a long way, but I think there are some things that I'm not delegating to my kids yet, because I'm kind of picky about how I want it done. And I think that's something that as adults, I sometimes you have to let go of. There might be a piece of tape that gets into the laundry, or it's not going to get done right. But I really do want my kids to be independent. And one of the things you talk about is talking about, especially with teenagers, try to paint a picture with them about when someday they might have their own place, and what are they going to do to make sure that their place is a nice place to live, and
Yes.
just have that vision with them.
Yeah, and I think a good place to even start is, if your kids decide to go off to college, they're going to have a roommate. And what would your roommate, want from you, and what would you want from your roommate in terms of those cleaning expectations? And, how would you feel if your roommate was really messy, right? And how that would sort of make you feel, and talking about how, if that makes you feel maybe anxious or that their stuff is all over the place, be mindful, because you need to make sure that you stay organized, you stay clean, because it does affect another person. And so those small habits as they get older become, again, just habits that they end up just doing without even noticing. It's the whole, you drive home some days and you forget how you even got there. You're just like, oh, I'm in my driveway. And it's the same thing with the cleaning habits, just picking up. If they walk by something on the floor, they just pick it up and put it away. And those little things, as they get older, just become habits, so that their house never feels so overwhelmingly, oh my gosh, a bomb happened. It's the typical, okay, it's just time to do some spring cleaning, let's do some deep cleaning, but everything else is pretty much in its place. But again, that doesn't happen overnight. That's a long process.
Yeah. Means is that they tend to be more aware of what's happening in the world, and they might be thinking about what's good for the environment, and then that could start a conversation about like what products you're using and things like that.
Yes. And I apologize. I think my internet went down just a little bit there. So can you kind of repeat what you said?
Sure. Yeah. So as one thing about teens is that they're more aware of what's happening in the world around them.
Oh, yes.
And they are starting to, they want to take good care of the environment, and they might ask questions about what products are good to use, and what's safe, what's good for the environment.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So, they have so much at their fingertips now, right? More than I did when I was a child. I'm not sure about you. And so they're able to look these things up, environmentally friendly cleaners and things of that nature. And there's so many out there, and there's a lot of confusing things as well. But it's a good conversation to have with your kids in terms of, yes, what is safe to use, what works best for our family, what do we feel is going to get our home the cleanest. There's a lot of families who really want products that are safe for the babies that are crawling on the floor, or their fur babies, right? That just eat everything off the floor, or for pregnant moms, they don't want the fumes, which they shouldn't have. And there's so many products out there. And there are some really good ones. And we use those kind that are very safe for pregnant moms, babies, pets, everything like that. So you have to really do your research. If you decide to do these cleaning on your own, and what products to use on what surfaces, so it doesn't discolor anything, it doesn't stain things, but you also want it clean. And so if there's ever any questions about that, I can answer those for people as well. I think YouTube has a lot of interesting videos, and we don't want to necessarily take that for word, because it does offer some good advice and not so good advice sometimes.
Oh, you just got a shout out from Akila.
Thanks, Akila. Hi.
Yeah, thanks, Akila. Yeah. So do you have any kind of any like additional thoughts, extra advice about families like getting their kids involved? It sounds like some of the key points are just like don't wait until you feel overwhelmed. Try to start when they're young, or start now, like whatever age they are now.
Start wherever you are. Yes.
Yeah. And start with a small habit and build from there.
Yeah, and make it family time. It doesn't have to be punishment time. It doesn't have to be chore time. It can be a family thing. I have an 11 and 8-year-old, and my 8-year-old was using the vacuum, and he wanted to. And I was right there alongside of him, and lo and behold, he sucked up a sock, and that took a whole hour to take the vacuum apart. But it ended up being kind of a funny family experience. And he learned the insides of a vacuum, right? And what not to do. And you can make it fun. Kids are not going to be perfect. They're never going to clean it the way you want. And as long as you sort of come to peace with that, and just know that they are trying their best and they're doing something, I think everybody's able to kind of take a deep breath and just move forward in baby steps. And that's all it is. That's all it is. No one's ever going to clean your home the way you exactly want to do it. But if they're contributing and they're trying, then we're winning.
That's right. That's right. And you made a really good point earlier about praise. So like, even if they didn't do a perfect job, find some things that they did well and comment on those. And then they get a sense of competence and they are more willing to do it again.
And believe it or not, they want to contribute. They want to be part of the family. They want to hear those good things. And, 90% of it, they're going to miss stuff. They will. And they're not going to put it in the right place. But there are some things that are going to be really good. And if we just point those out, they'll just build on that. And it will just continue to get better.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's why, like, I feel like this post, like, so like it's about cleaning and the blog is about education, but I think it's really important to include this kind of content in our site because I feel like life skills are really important and that there's a lot of the principles are the same, like about building good habits and like start small, do it one bite at a time, using how you use praise, how you use like relationships and family time. So, I mean, this post is all about education. And I'm really grateful to have it on the site because I feel like it adds breadth. And, in the summer, like that's a good time to start new habits because you're changing up your schedule anyway.
Yeah. And, I found last summer for my kids, I actually did give them a list of just simple things. Again, they were 10 and 7 at the time. And it just started with make your bed, clean up after breakfast. I think it had 4 or 5 basic things to do throughout the day. And I put it on a marker board so they could check it off and then we could erase it and they could do it the next day. But they were very simple things. It was a game changer. It was an absolute game changer. They loved checking it off the list. They really felt like they were contributing. I felt like they were contributing. Everything seemed a little bit calmer. So even a list can help, just have it in front of their eyes, anything like that, whatever works for your family.
I think lists are really good because I like giving my kids some flexibility about the time. So again, it's like giving them good choices. So It's like, yes, I want you to do these things, but I'm not telling you have to put down your iPad right now and do it. I'm just saying like by 5 p.m.,
yes,
get this
at some
done.
point,
Yeah.
this needs to get done. And the same as me. And sometimes they get it done within the first 30 minutes. Sometimes it's 4:30 in the afternoon and they're kind of scrambling to get it all done, but it happened. So, and having expectations as a parent, knowing that, you do have to let go of some of that control. You have to let go and just say, I need to allow this. I need to allow them to maybe make a few mistakes, not put things in the right spot, suck up a sock with a vacuum in order for them to thrive and continue to grow and build.
Yeah. Like, parenting is, it's messy, but it is so precious. And
yes.
And
it's all about that perspective. Yeah. Just allow it to be family time, really. And then it just becomes something so different and it doesn't become frustrating and it just becomes this togetherness time. And if we as parents, I think, can try and take on that perspective as much as possible, it helps us too. So we stay calmer, we stay less stressed.
Yeah. Because like you said, kids really do want to contribute.
They absolutely do.
They need a little guidance about how to do the activities. They need to be shown how to do it, and then they need reinforcement. They need praise for, yeah. Yes. Well, this is great. I'm really grateful that you're in this situation, like you're a business owner and a mom, and so like you understand the cleaning world professionally, but also like how to get kids involved in it. And there's lots of great educational tips in this blog post that I know I'm going to be referring to. And I hope our online community gets good use out of it this summer. So I want to tell people more about how to reach you and how to reach MaidPro. So I'm going to put the website up on the screen. So it's maidpro.com/San Antonio. And one of the things you mentioned in the post is that there's a way to get like a free estimate. So how does that work?
All they do is go to maidpro.com/San Antonio. They put in their zip code and it takes them to another link. And all they do is fill in their name, their email address, and their regular home address. And then someone from my staff reaches out and they go over an estimate with them. And we customize everything to your needs and your budget because no house is the same. No person is the same. Everybody's idea of what clean is different. And so we try and customize it based on all those factors. So it is a long conversation when we call you. It probably takes 20 or 30 minutes, but that's because we want to get to the bottom of what is it that you're really looking for. And one of the great things about this business is I feel as though I'm helping the community and parents in a way that brings them a little bit of peace of mind and joy in their homes, that we can just take something off their shoulders for them, because there's so many hats we wear as a parent. And after a while, you can't wear that many hats. You got to start outsourcing a little bit. And even if it's as simple as someone cleaning your kitchen and your bathrooms once a month, it's just, it's a nice deep breath, and it feels so good sometimes.
Yeah. In this past year, we've had we keep touching the topic of self-care, and self-care is not necessarily bubble bath. It might be going and reading a book while somebody else cleans your bathroom.
And it really is. And I think, as moms, and I know we all experience mom guilt at some point, or parent guilt, dad guilt, whatever kind of guilt. Having someone clean for you should not be on that list, because taking that off your list allows you to spend quality time on yourself and your kids. And that's what it's doing for you. It's freeing up that time. And that time is just invaluable. And it only takes us coming to your home 1 or 2 times before you go, oh my gosh, I wish I had done this sooner. It just feels so good.
Well, I think this is why you're so good at what you do, because I think you understand the people side of, right? Like every person is unique, every client is unique, every family is unique. And, we're all just coming up with our own solutions, but like, it's how it feels like, we want to be good parents, and we want to feel like we're doing a good job. And it's okay to outsource stuff like that.
It's okay. Again, like you said, it's part of your self-care. Kick your feet up and read a book, go in a corner and just a dark corner and be by yourself for a moment, go for a walk, take some deep breaths, whatever that time allows, that frees up, go do something that makes you happy. We all deserve that time to be happy. We have so little time on this earth here. Just enjoy it. Enjoy the moments, any free moment that you have.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that is a great message. I'm so thankful for the guest post. I'm thankful for your time to speak with us and, explain the concepts. Yeah. I'm going to pop the website up on the screen again. So MaidPro.com is the main site. And Kim is the owner of MaidPro San Antonio. So thank you so much.
Well, I appreciate you having me on. This was great. And I look forward to, helping anybody if they have any questions. And, you have a lot of great content on your site. I am overwhelmed, and it's amazing what you've done.
Oh,
it's really amazing.
Thank you so much.
For families here.
Oh, I really appreciate that. Okay. Well, great. Well, have a good weekend. Take care.
All right. Thank you.